subscribe for more.
I never planned to tell this story, but silence has a way of rotting you from the inside. My name is Marin Whitlock. I'm 39, married to Callum Reeves for 12 years. And for most of that time, I believe loyalty was something you protected by staying quiet. Callum was dependable in the ways people praise at dinner parties. He paid bills early, fixed things before they broke, and remembered birthdays. What he didn't do, slowly and without drama, was see me. Our conversations became checklists. Our evenings became parallel scrolling. When I reached for him, he'd pat my hand like a child being soothed and say he was tired. I told myself this was adulthood, that intimacy fades and responsible people accept it. The night everything changed began ordinary. Callum kissed my cheek and said he'd be up late finishing a report. I nodded, pulled on my coat, and went to a charity mixer downtown for work. That's where I met Rowan Hale. He wasn't charming in a loud way. He listened. He asked follow-up questions. He looked at me like I existed. When the event ended, it was raining, and we stood under an awning talking about books and cities we'd left behind. I should have gone home. Instead, I kept talking. We walked. We talked. Hours passed without noticing. I knew what line I was crossing, and I crossed it with my eyes open, not because I wanted a body, but because I wanted presence. I spent the night talking in Rowan's apartment, sitting on opposite ends of a sofa, shoes off, tea cooling between us. Nothing graphic happened, nothing cinematic. What happened was quieter and worse. I felt seen. I felt understood. I slept there on the couch. In the morning, I thanked him and left before the city woke. Callum was at the kitchen table when I came home. He asked if the event went well. I said yes. He nodded and went back to his screen. He had waited at home, not worried, not curious, not missing me. That was the moment clarity settled in. I hadn't betrayed a marriage in one night. I had exposed a truth we'd been avoiding for years. I didn't confess immediately. I watched him for weeks, noticing how often I disappeared in plain sight. When I finally spoke, I didn't dramatize it. I said I'd spent the night with another man, that nothing physical happened, and that it changed me anyway. Callum's face went still. He asked why I would do that. I answered honestly. I was lonely. I felt invisible. I stopped believing my needs mattered. He didn't shout. He didn't beg. He said he felt blindsided. He said he provided, that he was faithful, that this wasn't fair. He wasn't wrong about the facts. He was wrong about the conclusion. Fairness isn't a scoreboard. Marriage doesn't end in a single decision. It erodes in small, daily omissions. We tried counseling. We used careful words. We made calendars. We scheduled closeness like an errand. It didn't work because the issue wasn't time. It was attention. He wanted the version of me that required nothing. I wanted a partner who noticed when I faded. The final conversation was calm. We sat on the edge of the bed and spoke like colleagues closing a project. We agreed to separate. There were no villains, no heroes, only consequences. I moved into a small flat near the river. Callum kept the house. We told friends a neutral story. They nodded and chose sides quietly. People assume I left for another man. I didn't. Rowan drifted back into his life, and I into mine. What I left was a room where I had been waiting to be wanted. Spending that night away didn't make me brave. It made me honest. And honesty has a cost. I don't ask for forgiveness here. I don't ask for applause. I tell this because someone else is sitting at a table right now, being patted on the hand, convincing themselves that quiet is commitment. It isn't. Waiting without being seen is just a slower way to disappear. After the separation, the world kept offering simple judgments. Some friends framed me as reckless. Others whispered that Callum must have failed me. Neither story fit. Responsibility can be shared without symmetry. I chose a night away. He chose years of absence. Both choices mattered. I learned how easily people confuse stability with love and how quickly they condemn a woman who names loneliness. The paperwork was clinical. Signatures, dates, polite emails. Grief didn't announce itself. It arrived as inconvenience, as muscle memory reaching for a phone that no longer buzzed. I missed the idea of us more than the reality. I missed who I thought we were becoming, not who we had been for a long time. There is a lie we tell about endurance, that staying proves virtue. Sometimes staying only proves fear. Leaving, when done without cruelty, can be an act of restraint. I didn't torch our life. I stepped out of a room that had gone dark. If you need a villain, make it neglect. If you need a lesson, let it be this. Attention is not a luxury. It is the oxygen of intimacy. Without it, people suffocate politely, and politeness is not love. I am rebuilding quietly. Mornings are mine now, unhurried, honest. I read, walk, breathe. I learn to ask for presence before it becomes a plea. I learned that boundaries are not punishments. They are maps. Callum and I speak when necessary, respectfully, briefly. I wish him well without wishing myself back. This story isn't permission to wander. It's a warning about waiting. If someone you love keeps you company only in public, listen. If your touch is tolerated instead of welcomed, notice. Clarity arrives when denial gets tired. Don't wait that long. Choose yourself before resentment teaches you to disappear politely again. Tonight, slowly, alone, unseen, unheard, exhausted.